If you were to walk into an elementary school classroom and ask the question, how many students here have an incarcerated parent? Chances are that at least one student would raise their hand. That's right. According to the Children and Youth Services Review, about 1 in every 28 kids in the U.S. has an incarcerated parent. And that number equates to about 2.7 million children. The number of children with an incarcerated parent in the U.S. is significant, and the challenges faced by separated family members are substantial. I'm sure we all understand the importance of the parent child relationship, so I'm going to tell you a bit about the relationship between an incarcerated parent and child. First, we will look at some of the statistics and get an idea about how many family members are being impacted. After that, I will share with you the three methods of contact between an incarcerated parent and child. Finally, I'll go over some of the specific conditions experienced by family members, and you will hear what the experts have written about this issue. But first, let's look at some of the numbers. According to an article published in the journal Children and Youth Services Review, over half of all prisoners are parents. The Prison Policy Initiative accounted for over 2.3 million people incarcerated as of this year. This means that each parent has about 2 to 3 children on average. Alaska has a total of about 6,000 inmates, which means there are probably about 10,000 children with an incarcerated parent in our state. Now that you have an idea of how many families are being impacted, let's look at the three methods for how those families may stay connected. The most common method of contact is to communicate by mail. Inmates can send mail at their own expense and receive mail as long as the material is authorized. Restrictions vary, but according to Alaska Department of Corrections Policy 810.03, materials such as color crayon, glitter, glue, and stickers is not allowed. Second most common method of contact is through the prison phone system. According to Prison Phone Justice Organization, intrastate phone rates can range from 62 cents to over $6 per minute. Third most common form of contact is visiting, which occurs when family members travel to a facility. Although the most desired, a study from Rutgers University found that over half of all parents never receive a visit from their child. Now that we have looked at the three methods of contact, let's take a closer look at the challenges faced by separated family members. Although new technology can detect drugs that have been placed in a postal package, the smuggling of drugs is still listed as the reason for a range of restrictions. Those restrictions regularly result in mail being returned to sender. Most inmates are housed many miles from home, which makes arranging visitation a difficult endeavor. Most visiting areas have a sterile environment, very little to no physical contact, and the duration is typically limited to 1 hour. For decades, the Federal Communications Commission has been receiving complaints from citizens about the high cost of prison phone services. In a study from 2012, the Government Accountability Office found that, quote, familial contact, along with their positive effects, are diminished when relatives are unable to afford the inflated rates of collect calls coming from prisons. Before I share with you what's been written about these conditions, let's go over what we've covered. First, we looked at some of the statistics, and now we understand how many family members are being impacted. Then we learned the three methods of contact between an incarcerated parent and child. Finally, we took a closer look at the challenges experienced by family members who are working to maintain contact. Some of you may be wondering, why is this important? Well, from a public safety standpoint, a Journal of Criminal Justice study found that experiencing visitation results in a 26% decrease in recidivism, the rate at which people reoffend after release. Over 500,000 people are released from prison each year, so 26% is a significant number. In a study sponsored by Central Connecticut State University, researchers found that children of incarcerated parents are over 3 times more likely to become imprisoned themselves. The same study, however, found that children who regularly contact their incarcerated parent are less likely to become incarcerated than those who don't. For this reason, experts have recommended that states and organizations work to improve and increase contact between incarcerated parents and their children. For the future of the 2.7 million children whose parents are incarcerated, that investment may mean the difference between following in their parents' footsteps to prison or moving toward a more healthy, happier family. In closing, I will share with you a quote from Marion Wright Edelman, founder of the Children's Defense Fund. The question is not whether we can afford to invest in every child, question is whether we can afford not to.